Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Monday, January 14th, 2019. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Everyone remembers that guy from high school who was just a little bit stronger and a little bit faster than anyone else. And for some reason, I get the feeling that Nathan DeAsher probably was that guy. Over the weekend, the perennial Olympia threat was spotted knocking out an insane chest session at his home gym, the Prophecy Performance Center, where he's been holed up for most of this off-season. Everything I've heard up to this point tells me that DeAsher and his team are right where they want to be at this point in the year. And with another solid 5 or 6 months of growing ahead of them, hopefully he has a few surprises in store for us when he's ready to unleash the beast. When you look at it on paper, the lineup for this year's Arnold Australia already feels like it might end up being one of the best we've seen down there in recent memory. But one of the names that jumped out at me as a potential X factor was former 212 standout Quincey Winkler. After sitting out most of last season, the lighter half of the world-famous Winkler duo is ready to test out the waters in the open division at one of the biggest shows in bodybuilding, where he'll finally have the chance to compete next to his big brother, who'll be there defending his title. Personally, I think the move to the open division is great for Quincey because it always seemed like he lost a lot of size trying to suck down to the 212 division. So now that he can finally grow into a show, it'll be interesting to see what kind of new wrinkles he can bring to the table. 9 times out of 10, if someone tells you that you've got a weird looking body, they mean it as an insult. But at this point, I don't know any other way to describe the way the muscle on top of muscle looks on 212 big man Nicolas Vullioud, other than weird. A few days ago, our team got our hands on some footage of the third-year pro getting in some high-quality chest action as he starts to transition into the next phase of his off-season program. Outside of Derik Lunsford, I don't think there was another second-year guy in the division who had more of an impact than the Swedish Nightmare did last season. But now that we've got a few spots up for grabs at the top of the division, he'll need to come back even better if he wants to be in a position to vie for the title of 212 Mr. Olympia. If we can draw any parallels to bodybuilding from last week's NFL playoffs, it would be this. The way you finish down the stretch goes a long way towards deciding what the final score ends up being. And at the end of last season, I don't know if there was an athlete in the entire men's physique division who closed out harder down the stretch than Kamati Viktor. Since officially making the Arnold invite list a few weeks ago, the former Canadian national champ has been back in the lab trying to cook up a new and improved version of the guy who took the fourth quarter of 2018 by storm for what will easily be the biggest show of his young career. Given some of the heavy hitters that we're going to see in this lineup, at this point it's hard to say where a guy like Viktor might fit into the mix. But when the dust finally settles, I can't say that I'd be all that surprised if he ended up walking out of there with a top 5 finish. If you guys haven't seen Coming to America yet with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, after the show is over, you need to stop whatever you're doing and check that one off your bucket list, because it's still one of the greatest comedies of all time. And a few days after I heard some rumors that rookie monster in training Hassan Mustafa might be trying to pull a little Coming to America act of his own, a lot sooner than we thought, well, rumor has it that Mustafa is working on obtaining his visa so he can compete in America and Australia this March. And you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out that he must be looking for an invite to the Arnold USA and Arnold Australia. Considering some of the visa issues we've seen from guys like Hadi Choopan in recent years, I don't think I would hold my breath on this one. But then again, you never know. 2 months from now, we could all be looking at Hassan Mustafa making his pro debut on one of the biggest stages in all of bodybuilding. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.